Rivers, the very lifeblood of our planet, carve majestic canyons, nourish civilizations, and meander through some of Earth's most untamed terrains. While the names of the world's most famous rivers might be familiar, prepare to discover waterways you may have never encountered before. Join us as we embark on a deep dive into the captivating geography of the 10 longest rivers on Earth. Counting down from number 10, we begin our journey with the Amur River, stretching an impressive 4,444 kilometers across the vast landscapes of East Asia. Originating in the highlands where Mongolia and Russia converge, the Amur is formed by the confluence of the Shilka and Argun rivers. Following its course, observe how this mighty waterway establishes a natural boundary between Russia to the north and China to the south for approximately 1,610 kilometers. More than just a geographical feature, the Amur serves as a significant political and cultural dividing line, profoundly shaping the history of both nations for centuries. Its basin encompasses diverse ecosystems, from dense forests to expansive wetlands, and is fed by numerous tributaries including the Songhua River from China and the Zaya and Bureya rivers from Russia. Next, at number 9, we venture to Africa to explore the incredible Congo River. As the continent's second longest waterway after the Nile, it spans a remarkable 4,700 kilometers. What unfolds before us is not merely a river, but a vital lifeline for Central Africa. Its journey commences in the highlands of northeastern Zambia as the Chambeshi River before transforming into the formidable Congo. Notice its distinctive gigantic arc, sweeping northward before curving westward through the dense Congo rainforest. The Congo's true marvel, however, lies beneath its surface. At certain points, it plunges to depths exceeding 220 meters, earning it the title of the world's deepest river. Further downstream, the famed Congo Rapids present a series of cataracts and waterfalls that posed extreme challenges to early explorers. Beyond these rapids, the river widens dramatically, forming a vast navigable waterway crucial for regional transportation. Finally, the Congo reaches its terminus on Africa's west coast, emptying into the Atlantic Ocean and creating a freshwater plume that extends far into the sea. Moving to South America for number 8, we encounter the magnificent Parana River, stretching an impressive 4,880 kilometers across the continent. It stands as South America's second longest river, surpassed only by the mighty Amazon. The Parana's journey begins in southeastern Brazil, at the confluence of the Paranaíba and Grande rivers. Gathering strength from these substantial tributaries, the river flows southward, forming a natural border between Brazil and Paraguay. This section witnesses a dramatic transformation at the Itaipu Dam, one of the world's largest hydroelectric facilities. Spanning approximately 8 kilometers and rising 196 meters high, the dam creates a massive reservoir, storing enough water to meet the electricity needs of both Paraguay and a significant portion of Brazil. Further downstream, the Paraná defines the border between Paraguay and Argentina, where the landscape transitions from dense forests to open grasslands. The river widens considerably here, creating numerous islands and wetland ecosystems that support incredible biodiversity. A highlight along its course is the Iguazu Falls. While technically located on a tributary, these falls constitute one of the world's most breathtaking natural spectacles, a system of 275 individual waterfalls showcasing nature's raw power. Ultimately, the Paraná merges with the Uruguay River to form the vast Rio de la Plata estuary, one of the widest river mouths globally, spanning an astonishing 220 kilometers where it meets the Atlantic Ocean. Our 7th destination takes us to the vast expanses of Siberia, home to the extraordinary Obertish River system, which extends 5,410 kilometers across the rugged Russian landscape. This ranks among the world's longest river systems, draining an immense watershed covering approximately 3 million square kilometers. The system originates in the Altai Mountains of southern Siberia, where the Ob River emerges from the confluence of the Bia and Katun rivers. Fed by ancient glaciers and snowmelt from peaks exceeding 4,500 meters, the nascent Ob carves through dramatic mountain valleys before entering the vast West Siberian plain. The Irtysh River, the principal tributary that lends this system its remarkable length, actually begins its journey much farther south in the Altai Mountains, flowing through Kazakhstan before entering Russia. By the time it merges with the Ob, the Irtysh has already traveled over 4,000 kilometers. The unified river, now the Ob, continues its northward journey, growing ever wider as it traverses the flat Siberian terrain. Finally, the Ob forms an enormous delta as it empties into the Kara Sea, part of the Arctic Ocean. This estuary, spanning approximately 80 kilometers at its widest, creates one of the world's largest tidal freshwater ecosystems. Though frozen for nearly 8 months of the year, the delta bursts with life during the brief summer, attracting millions of migratory birds to breed in its nutrient-rich environment. At number 6, we turn our attention to China and the legendary Yellow River, stretching 5,464 kilometers across the country's northern regions. Often called China's Sorrow due to its history of devastating floods, it is simultaneously revered as the cradle of Chinese civilization. The river's journey begins high in the Bayanhar Mountains of western China's Qinghai province. Here, it emerges as a clear mountain stream, winding through verdant highlands at elevations over 4,500 meters, offering little hint of the massive, sediment-laden waterway it will become. Following the river eastward, observe its dramatic northward turn, forming an enormous loop that encircles the Ordos Desert. It then carves a path through the Loess Plateau, a vast region covered in fine, yellowish silt deposits, the very sediment that gives the river its distinctive color and name. Further along its course, the Yellow River passes through impressive gorges and canyons, including the Jinshan Canyon, where dramatic cliffs reveal layers of ancient rock cut by the river, creating a spectacular passage that has challenged travelers for millennia. The river concludes its journey by emptying into the Bohai Sea, part of the Yellow Sea in the Pacific Ocean. Returning to Siberia for number 5, we encounter the mighty Yenisei-Angara River system, extending 5,539 kilometers across the vast Russian landscape. This constitutes the 5th longest river system globally and the largest draining into the Arctic Ocean. Its origin is remarkable. The crystal-clear waters of Lake Baikal, the world's deepest and most voluminous freshwater lake. The Angara River, the sole outflow of this ancient lake, emerges with such force that its headwaters resist freezing, even during the harsh Siberian winter. Following the Angara northward, it flows through a series of massive hydroelectric dams, harnessing its tremendous power. The Bratsk Dam, for instance, created one of the largest reservoirs on Earth upon its completion in the 1960s. This artificial lake stretches back over 500 kilometers, transforming the river's natural character into a series of vast lake-like expanses. Downstream, the Angara merges with the Upper Yenisei, also known as the Great Yenisei. From this confluence, the massive river, now the Yenisei, grows progressively wider as it continues northward through the heart of Siberia. Finally, it reaches the remarkable Yenisei Gulf, where it meets the Kara Sea. This estuary is one of the world's largest, spanning up to 50 kilometers wide and extending 250 kilometers inland from the Arctic Ocean. Crossing the globe to North America at number 4, we find the magnificent Mississippi-Missouri River system, stretching 6,275 kilometers across the heartland of the United States. This system reigns as the longest in North America. Its journey begins high in the Rocky Mountains of western Montana, where the Missouri River, the Mississippi's longest tributary, emerges from the confluence of 3 mountain streams, the Jefferson, Madison, and Gallatin Rivers. Following the Missouri eastward, notice how it carves through spectacular landscapes, including the dramatic gates of the mountains, where limestone cliffs rise hundreds of meters from the water's edge. Continuing downstream, the Missouri flows through massive reservoirs created by mid-20th century dams. Lake Sakakawea, behind Garrison Dam in North Dakota, stretches for 286 kilometers and ranks among North America's largest artificial lakes. These reservoirs have transformed the once wild Big Muddy into a managed waterway providing flood control, irrigation, and hydroelectric power. Shifting focus to the upper Mississippi, its journey starts modestly at Lake Itasca in northern Minnesota, as a stream one could almost step across. Downstream, its character changes dramatically upon meeting the Wisconsin River, where the Mississippi widens, developing its characteristic braided channels flowing between countless islands and sandbars. A crucial juncture occurs just north of St. Louis, the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers. Here, the clear waters of the upper Mississippi are instantly transformed by the merger, taking on a muddy, coffee-colored appearance. Continuing southward, the river grows ever more massive, joined by other major tributaries like the Ohio River at Cairo, Illinois. The Ohio actually contributes more water volume than the Mississippi at this point. Finally, the river reaches its magnificent delta, splitting into multiple distributaries before emptying into the Gulf of Mexico, continuously building new land by depositing an estimated 159 million tons of sediment annually. Returning to China for number 3, we explore the magnificent Yangtze River, flowing 6,300 kilometers across the country's eastern portion. As China's longest river and the third longest globally, it serves as a vital lifeblood for hundreds of millions. The Yangtze begins its journey high, amidst the glaciated peaks of the Tibetan Plateau, emerging from the melting ice of the Gelidongdong Mountain. It tumbles through steep valleys and gorges, descending rapidly from elevations exceeding 5,000 meters. Following its eastward path, the river enters the spectacular Three Gorges, a 200-kilometer stretch where it cuts through towering limestone cliffs reaching up to 1,200 meters. This dramatic landscape has inspired Chinese artists and poets for millennia. Within this section stands the massive Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydroelectric facility. This engineering marvel creates a reservoir extending 600 kilometers upstream, profoundly transforming the river and surrounding communities. Downstream, the Yangtze widens considerably, flowing through the fertile Zhonghan Plain, one of China's most productive agricultural regions, where rice paddies and fish farms have supported dense populations for thousands of years. The river's journey concludes near Shanghai, forming an enormous delta before emptying into the East China Sea. At this juncture, it's crucial to acknowledge the complexities inherent in measuring rivers. Identifying precise start and end points, deciding which channels or tributaries to include, and even calculating length are far from straightforward. High-resolution maps don't guarantee absolute precision, as rivers constantly evolve through erosion, floods, and human intervention. Some split into multiple branches or flow through lakes and reservoirs, complicating consistent measurement. Consequently, experts continue to debate whether the Nile or the Amazon holds the title of the world's longest river. There is no universal standard, only best estimates shaped by methodology, scale, and interpretation. With this caveat, we present the 2 longest rivers based on the most widely accepted measurements available today. At number 2, we journey back to South America to witness the mighty Amazon River, stretching approximately 6,400 kilometers across the continent. While ranked second in length, the Amazon is by far the most voluminous river globally, carrying more water than the next 7 largest rivers combined. Its journey originates high in the Peruvian Andes, where its most distant source, the Mantaro River, emerges from Lake Junin. Flowing eastward, the Amazon enters the vast Amazon Basin, the largest drainage basin on Earth, covering roughly 40% of South America. The river widens dramatically as it meanders through the world's largest rainforest, creating a complex, seasonally changing network of channels, floodplains, and lakes. Near Manaus, Brazil, the Meeting of Waters offers a stunning spectacle. The dark waters of the Rio Negro flow alongside the sediment-rich muddy waters of the Solimões River for nearly 6 kilometers before fully mixing, a remarkable phenomenon driven by differences in temperature, speed, and density. These waters teem with life, hosting over 2,500 fish species, while the surrounding rainforest boasts an estimated 16,000 tree species and countless other organisms. The Amazon finally reaches its mouth, emptying its vast volume into the Atlantic Ocean. Finally, topping our list at number 1 is the iconic Nile River, stretching an estimated 6,650 kilometers across northeastern Africa. Widely considered the world's longest river, it flows northward through 11 countries before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile's journey begins at the most distant source of the White Nile, the Kagera River in the highlands of Burundi. From there, it flows into Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake, emerging at Jinja, Uganda as the Victoria Nile. Continuing downstream, the river enters South Sudan, forming the vast Sud wetlands, one of the world's largest freshwater wetland ecosystems, spanning over 30,000 square kilometers during flood seasons and providing critical habitat for innumerable bird species and other wildlife. A crucial confluence occurs at Khartoum, Sudan, where the White Nile merges with the Blue Nile, originating in the Ethiopian highlands. The Blue Nile contributes approximately 80% of the Nile's water and most of its fertile silt, the foundation of the Nile Valley's ancient and enduring agricultural productivity. Following the unified Nile through Egypt, the river cuts a narrow strip of lush, arable land through the harsh desert landscape, sustaining civilizations for millennia. Its epic journey concludes as it forms a vast delta before flowing into the Mediterranean Sea.